Good morning to everybody. Parlerò in italiano visto che questo è un congresso.
I'm going to speak Italian, because this is a conference that includes many Italian eye doctors. We all know what the Fuchs dystrophy is. And in the advanced countries, it is the main reason, the main cause for transplantation. And recently, we have moved towards a minimally invasive surgery, and we'll have with us great masters teaching how to do it. So the corneal endothelium needs a lot of energy in order to maintain the healthy state of the cornea due to the pumps, ATP-dependent ionic pumps. So several papers have already proposed the mitochondrium as one of the main causes in Fuchs physiopathology. Here we may see some abnormal mitochondria in Fuchs dystrophy. Several genes have been identified causing such a dystrophy, and in particular in 2012, an expansion of a trinucleotide has been identified within an intron region. So the red line, so thiamine, guanine, and cytosine, that is repeated several times. Let me remind you that introns are the section of DNA which is not supposed to be coding for RNA and proteins. But this mutation can cause about 60 to 75% of cases in the Caucasian race, and the length of these repeats is related to the severity of the disease as well as to the higher risk for needing a graft. This very nice diagram, I have obtained it courtesy of Dr. Colby, with whom I was fortunate enough to work with for some months. Here we have she has here put together all the scientific evidence that currently we can have available to us in the solid lines. And the rest is the dotted line. And in particular, at the heart of the image, we have the mitochondria, which are the main alleged culprit for Fuchs dystrophy. Okay, going back to nucleotide expansion, although they are found in an intron region that is not supposed to be coding, these are transcribed into small DNA sequences sequestering proteins which play a key role for cell homeostasis and into RNA foci, the ones that are identified in red in the image. So two works by Mutha and Gittler and cooperators in 2015 have shown their role in Fuchs dystrophy. But as far as the second part is concerned, so the RNA peptides, they are produced by mutant RNA sequences that accumulate in the plasma reticle, and this causes the death of cells. They haven't been identified in Fuchs dystrophy, but in other diseases having the same mutations. So what has to be noted that these repeats are found in Fuchs dystrophy and microsatellite diseases that are very rare degenerative diseases which are severely disabling, in particular in the region that is not coding for RNA, so the myotonic dystrophy type 1 and 2, and the SLA that is associated to frontotemporal dementia. So in addition to this mechanism, we have other mechanisms such as the oxidative stress, the stress of endoplasmatic reticle, and we also know that a particular important role is developed by this contact area between the plasma reticulate and the mitochondria. So we have several gene mutations having exactly the same phenotype. We have oxidative stress and mitochondrial homeostasis apoptosis that are common to all these mutations, but we know that there are other physiopathological mechanisms that still have to be studied, and the most frequent mutations in Fuchs are found also in these very rare neurologic microsatellite diseases that are very difficult to treat, and in future with antioxidant treatments might benefit from such advancements. I will not talk about the grafting because which is certainly the treatment of choice for these diseases. Let me remind you of the possible future trends or directions of development for this disease. Yesterday, you have heard from Dr. Kinoshita, outstanding lecture on cultivated cortical cells being injected with a ROCK inhibitor, and there are also papers that have been published on decimate stripping, that is to say, the removal of the diseased tissue without the replacement with a donor tissue. So these are the papers I'm quoting. So this paper, this study on 13 patients with ECD and 75% of positive outcome, and 3 patients instead required keratoplasty, endothelial keratoplasty. Another study by Moloney, 75% of success rate, and the 3 patients who were not responsive, the ROCK inhibitor has been used. Out of these 3, 2 have cleared, so they didn't need any keratoplasty. So only 1 patient had to undergo grafting. Of course, these are small numbers, yet there are a lot of questions that are still unanswered. So the diameter of this decimeter rex is why in a certain amount of patients it didn't work. But I can tell you that Dr. Colby is currently using ROCK inhibitors in all patients in order to expedite and improve the results. 2 very fast words about ROCK inhibitors. It is being authorized for glaucoma in Japan, but having it in Italy is nearly impossible. It took me 3 months to get it. It was stopped at the customs, but in the future it will be very useful also in the post-cataract following period. And finally, for those of you who haven't yet donated a certain amount of the income tax to any charity, I invite you to take a look at this website. This is Dr. Giustiniani, who has opened up charity houses and for orphans in Madagascar, and certainly will benefit a lot from possible donations.